making that mistake, which he really did. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like he defaulted
Yeah.
that rollout.
Yeah.
All right, that was all I had to share. But if you got a quick second, I wouldn't mind flexing my skills real quick.
Hey, look, hey, Robbie, look, take
Since I got the
advantage
film
of
up,
the
might as well, right?
advantage of the opportunity, man. I told you it's the first play. You look, he did it on purpose. Like he showed that first play to show us some quick feet. You know what I'm saying? So we can mention it.
If there's any offensive lineman out there watching this, there's good technique stuff to watch here. Where is it?
And while he brings that up, Manny, because I want to ask you all a question, right? And obviously we've been on Taylor for a while, but I want to ask you all like a percent chance, not in terms of who's going to be starting for Washington. I feel like that's a repeated question. Like who's going to end up starting? But if you had to talk about a percentage and who do you believe in terms of who do you have more faith in, just in general as a quarterback, is this would it be fair to even include Heinicke, or do you need to see more out of him? Do you have more faith in Fitzpatrick, or do you have more faith in Heinicke? And Manny, I'll go with you as we see some clips of our good guy Robbie Duncan.
So this is us against William and Mary, by the way. ODU
Okay.
versus William and Mary.
And you're at tackle or guard here?
I'm at right tackle here.
Okay, I got you.
Right there.
Okay. I see you swagged out with the white sleeves, man.
That was my look. That was my look.
Yeah, man. I think I will feel more confidence in Fitzpatrick just because you've seen him the last couple of years really play consistently and play at a near high level, and we've only seen again a very small sample size with Heinicke, and so it's still a 50-50 chance of him being, a legitimate starting quarterback. So I will feel more comfortable with Fitzpatrick.
Oh.
That's it.
Just knock his hands down. That's all you got to do.
Oh.
They want to use that long arm technique on you. That's fine. Use their momentum against them.
And Dre, where are you at? Who do you have more faith in? And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, my answer may surprise y'all, but go ahead, where are you at, Dre?
As far as the quarter, I mean, I like both of them. See, I don't want to make this a Taylor versus Ryan thing for me because I do like Ryan Fitzpatrick. I mean, I think at worst, you know what you're getting out of Ryan Fitzpatrick, and I don't think he's necessarily going to be a team killer. I think he's slightly better than what we've had here, and that might not be saying a lot because you have one-legged Alex and Wayne just completely. I do feel like he's going to be at least better than that. The floor is slightly better than those two, which is I'll take that with this team. But at the same time, Taylor, as I said before, he's the most intriguing QB prospect on the team because if all week, all like we haven't seen him go fall flat out in his face yet. So he's a guy I would like to see more of. I mean, if I had my choice, I would rather roll out into the season with him. But at the same time, I'm not upset with Ryan Fitzpatrick starting the year off because, like I said, I like both guys. And I do feel comfortable knowing if Ryan Fitzpatrick is starting and he doesn't perform up to the level we need him to, that we will get to see Taylor Heinicke. And I hope if he does get his chance, that he will be the reason.
Yeah, so you actually saved me, Dre, because my answer was Heinicke, and then I took some more things into account, literally as you were talking. So congrats to you, man. You're actually persuasive. I think that like when it comes to Taylor, I think what I was going to say I believed in was more so his skill set in terms of what he brings to the table. Like you're going to get 110% from him every single week. You know what he brings in terms of like what he sees on the field. Like he has the vision to make these proper throws, to make the right reads, to throw in rhythm and stuff like that. That's the type of guy that he is. But at the same time, and this is not, I actually want to like second Dre's point. I don't want to phrase these questions as a, versus, right? But sometimes you do have to understand, like when it is a battle or competition going on, we do have to understand that there is going to be one over the other because there's no way you roll out with two quarterbacks. So it is important or interesting to hear the answers from people. And with that being said, like I did initially say Heinicke, but Fitzpatrick in the sense that he has the veteran leadership, he has the veteran experience. He's going to be ready for the ton of things that that can be thrown at him during a given season. And it's not to say that Heinicke isn't, because technically he does have the experience because he's been around for what 4 or 5 years now. But can you bank on a guy who's been around for 4 or 5 years, even though he hasn't been in the games? I can't really say that I can, unfortunately. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. Again, I was gonna say Heinicke, and then shout out to Dre. All right, I'm gonna just go ahead and stick with Fitzpatrick on this one. Robbie, I wanna just give you the floor before we close out on Taylor and Fitzpatrick. Same question goes to you. And obviously we're prefacing this. It's not a versus. It's more so of just understanding somebody does have to come out on top regardless of what we really think. And where are you at with this Fitzpatrick and Heinicke thing? Who do you have more faith in early on, at least at this point of the season?
You know, I'd like to say Taylor, but I mean Fitzpatrick's been around for forever. You know, and you can argue that he's played his best football as a quarterback since he's been with the Dolphins. Maybe it was a fluke, whatever you want to call it, but he's a guy that's been around the block and he knows what it takes. Taylor is still relatively new in the whole grand scheme of things to this, right? He's been off and on here and there. The experience is not exactly what you want to bank on right away for the future. But the question that you have to ask yourself, and I think Ron understands this too, is which of these guys gives me the chance to offer more longevity? Who can be here as my starter for 3 or 4 seasons, maybe more, right? Obviously that is Taylor, and that's the stone you need to kind of just roll over and see what's underneath at the same time. Like I want to cover all your bases. If he can't do it, he can't do it. That doesn't mean toss him into the fire and make him QB1 going into the Tampa Bay game, but it's something you really need to kind of ask yourself, because we in the roster building standpoint, they got a ton of big contracts coming up that they got to work out. Montez Sweat, Daron Payne, Jonathan Allen still needs to get re-signed. Terry McLaurin. What option, if you can get a guy like Taylor to prove that he's a starter, that's a guy you can get at a pretty reasonable price compared to a high-profile draft pick that's going to make a lot more money than say Taylor would, or a big-name free agent like Fitzpatrick. I mean, he's making about $10 million. That's not chump change either. So, I mean, I think with a guy like Taylor, if he can prove himself as the starter, you got a guy that you can get good quality starting play from. Maybe not Pro Bowl or whatever, but quality play out of at a reasonable price that lets you allocate your cap space into keeping your team together.
And Sleezo, my boy said he likes Fitz. It's just depending on it's just depending on what Fitz you get. So but he's gonna go with Taylor Heinicke. He has more faith in Taylor. I respect that, my man. For sure. Obviously, that